Hello everybody, welcome in. Happy almost Valentine's Day. This is hopefully the very last take I will be doing of this dozen rose in a vase tutorial. I've tried it quite a few times over the past few days. It's just been one silly technical difficulty after another that I've been experiencing, so I'm hoping that this time works. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a vase, clear glass vase, ready to go, filled up to here with water. And I'm going to start with leather leaf. This is kind of the building block of a lot of those traditional dozen rose arrangements. So that's what we're going for. There's a million modern ways to do these, but today it's my goal to teach you just how to do a simple dozen in a vase. It's great for, your high production shops. I know I've worked in shops where I've literally just made these nonstop, like the entire week. I've just made dozen roses in vases. So they're still a top seller. They still are, what tons of people like to send for Valentine's Day. So let's get started. Leather leaf is pretty big. I go through, the other day when I was struggling to make the tutorial of this, I'm just going to talk as I go along, so hopefully you can follow along and it's not too complicated and you're counting 1, 2, 3 as I'm doing this, because I'm a very, very chatty designer. It's really hard for me to design and not chat. And most flower shops, you do have at least 2 designers working in any back room. I feel like all floral designers are pretty chatty, talkative people. So we get more work done, we work more efficiently and more happily when we're paired with others. At least I always do. I can't stand working by myself even to this day. But now that we're dealing with the world events that we are, still even now in 2021, I'm hoping maybe by filming these and doing more tutorials and getting on YouTube like this, it'll give me a sense that I'm kind of not by myself. So I think what I started to say was the other day when I was having technical difficulties with this, I only went with 1 bunch of leather leaf for my vase, and I found that my top rose that I began the arrangement with was just not cooperating. It didn't want to stay put. And then it occurred to me, I think historically, and when I used to work making these all the time, I think I used more than 1 bunch. I think it was like a bunch and a half, or I'd start with like a quarter bunch of leather leaf and then a quarter bunch of salal or eucalyptus or something like that. Every shop is different. I mean, you have some shop owners that will only allow you to have, half a bunch of leather leaf and you just have to make it work. And you figure it out. But if I'm allowed to make them the way that I like to make them, or if I'm sending one of these to someone I know personally, you're gonna get all the greens. All the greens, all the love is going into it. Still love my floral arrangements. Okay, oops. This guy, see, if I had other arrangements to make, I'd be using that for something else. I probably can. So that's 1 dozen. Let me just see, not 1 dozen, that is 1 bunch. So let me see if I can get a rose to stand up straight with 1. Yeah, today it seems like I can. If I need to, I'm going to add more greenery as we go along. So I'm starting right now with the tallest rose that I had in my bucket. This is the time when I do remove the thorns. I always leave thorns on until I'm actually working with the roses. When I condition them, of course, I take all the greenery off of the bottom of the rose wherever it's going to fall below the water line. Oh, see, now it doesn't want to stay put. You son of a gun! All right, we're just going to do this the proper way. So that was a little less than 1 bunch because I pulled out the 1 piece of leather. So now I'm just going to fill in the rest of this, because I am not dealing with roses that do not want to cooperate and do not want to stand up. Just not happening. Oh, yes. A traditional dozen roses in a vase. And I'm kind of making this tutorial in hopes that some of you busy shop owners out there can kind of refer your new hires to a video like this, and hopefully they can get some practice by following along with this. If you're having a really busy day and you don't have a chance to, train them again and again and again and stand there and watch as you're training your designers, this might be a nice little helpful thing for them to take home or to do in their spare time, or while you're in a coffee break or something, they can check it out. But it also might be a helpful video to those of you that want to make something like this at home. Maybe you got a beautiful wrapped bouquet of a dozen roses for Valentine's Day, and now you need to put them in a vase. That gives me a great idea. I need to do another video tutorial on how to deal with that scenario, because so many times, you poor things, you get these wrapped bouquets with all these beautiful florals, and you'll have like one piece of greenery, and you're not going to have it looking the way that you want it to look when you try to arrange them at home. It's not that you're not talented with putting flowers in vases, it's just that the wrapped bouquet doesn't usually have as much greenery as a vase arrangement would. Okay, so we're starting out with one tall rose right in the center here. I'm just going to move some of this out of the way. It's so weird doing this video from a guest room and not actually from my studio, but it is so cold and so drafty this week. It's been absolutely freezing cold outside, so I'm trying to work as much as I can from indoors in the house. All right, so we got our tall rose there. I'm just pulling the tallest ones out of my bucket right now. And like I said, I tried to film this tutorial many, many times, so I may not even be giving a super big cut to any of these stems, just because I want them to all match up nicely for this how-to video. Okay, so you see they're still going to shift a little bit on you as you're designing. You can add, I'm just going to add this because I'm the boss and I just want extra greenery, but if your shop tells you no, then don't listen to them. All right, let's see. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the flower world these days. Everybody is very busy, but it seems that there is definitely a shortage of people, I've got to stop running my mouth. There's a shortage of people who know how to properly design. So hopefully by showing you these types of things, you will learn a few more of the tips and techniques. Okay, so we have 3 tall ones here. Now I'm going to grab 2 of the shortest ones I can find in my bucket, because they're going to go here and here. Oh, they're so pretty. I don't even know what variety this is. Just grabbed it. It was just smiling up at me. Okay, so we got that and that. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this. I have my 5, I'm so fussy. I have no OCD whatsoever, but when it comes to designs like this, I really get kind of wacky about it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are going to serve as your guide for the rest of the arrangement that you're going to make. So we have them there. Now we're going to take 2 more. I'm going to put this here. And this here. And, oh, come on, you roses. I said 2 more, sorry, I meant 3 more. All right. So we got, okay. So hopefully you can kind of see this. Whoops, I'm going to scooch down actually so you can see it against this blank wall. If I continue to film these up here, I have to paint this wall a different color. Right now it looks very much like an interrogation room, but I really just wanted to get going with this project. All right, let's see. So hopefully you're seeing how this is starting to come together. Again, the roses are going to start shifting now as you're putting everything in to your vases and to your vase. But that's okay, because once we add the baby's breath and the bow and the ribbon at the end and everything, it all works out really, really nicely and evenly and beautifully. Oh God, I love flowers so much. Okay, so we have that side facing it there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side that I just did to the front side that you all are watching. I cut all of my flowers with a knife still. I still think that is by far the best way to keep them looking as beautiful as can be and get them lasting as long as they possibly can. And who doesn't want long-lasting flowers? The longer you have them, the better. You know, they've done research actually, and they say people that know there are flowers in their house when they wake up, they instantly wake up thinking about the flowers. Like that's the first thing that they think about when they wake up. So, you know, if you can make the flowers last just a little bit longer for that type of thing, I think it's a good thing. So try to cut with the knife whenever possible. All right, let's grab another one of these. Okay. Now, when dealing with even numbers, it's really, I can't stand dealing with even numbers. I really can't. Everything comes out better with odd numbers in floral design. At least in my experience, I really like working with odd numbers. But when you do that in a dozen, you're going to find that you have this little hole right here. The other side has this nice rose down at the bottom here, so it's all sort of even. But that's not the case on this side. So what we're going to do is make a very pretty bow for that. And we'll color these red because it's Valentine's. I'm going to try to move this over. Okay. And let's get going here. I'm just going to use basic florist satin for this. I think a lot of shops may still be using this, especially if, you know, it could be raining outside or who knows what, moisture could be a thing in your cooler. So just making tails that are really long and dreamy. And really, guys, you can use whatever type of ribbon you want to, or whatever type of ribbon your shop is asking you to use. Sometimes if you're upgrading these, you'll do wire bows. Sometimes you do silk or satin, all types of different things. But this is a pretty standard type of bow. You see these on a lot of holiday arrangements. I still use this for, you know, tons. If I ever have like a million things to gift wrap or something like that, I might still use the florist satin with this. For bridal work, we do not use this. Okay. For now, I'm just going to do a little 8-loop bow. Do I want 8? No, I'm going to do 10. I like 8. Okay. 9. Just want it to be a little bit bigger. Okay. There we go. You can never have enough loops on a bow, especially when it's a gift. And it is Valentine's Day, so of course it's going to be a gift. Someone's going to give this to their sweetheart, or someone's going to bring it for a Valentine Day meetup. Actually, we're probably not doing a meetup this year, but maybe a virtual meetup would be sweet. Okay, ta-da! Nice, beautiful, fluffy, sexy bow. There you go. All right, and we're just gonna use a hyacinth spike like this. Now, some shops are really particular about how you wrap your bows like this. Some people recycle their rose stems and use them. Some people will not let you just wire your bows. You have to tape everything. It just depends. Every shop's a little different. Since this is basically staying in my home, I don't really care. So I have just wrapped, hopefully you can see this. I've just wrapped it like that. Okay, so this is going to go right down into the center of my arrangement like that. Okay. And now this is the time when you can start to really upgrade your arrangement. You can add wax flower, you could add baby's breath, you could add a stilby, you could add all kinds of gorgeous filler flowers. Fillers are usually like the little tiny flowers. They're not the big focal point flowers, in case you're wondering. All right, just my little tidbits here. Okay, so here's how it's looking so far. Again, I'm gonna try to like scooch down so you can kind of see it, kind of from all around. So for the most part, these aren't going anywhere. I mean, maybe if your delivery driver hits a bump or gets into some kind of crazy traffic situation, they may shift a bit. But I'm thinking anyone who's receiving a gift like this is just delighted, and they're more than happy to move a rose around if it's not to their liking or something once it gets on their table. All right. So we have that. Now it's time for baby's breath. So let's get going with that. Again, I'm just showing you like the most basic way of doing this. You want to make certain, especially newbie designers out there, make certain that all of your stems are deep in the water. You do not want to put in these short little pieces of baby's breath and just hope that your boss won't notice. Your flowers are going to dry out in 1, 2, 3 if you do that. So you want to make sure with the baby's breath and the filler flowers that they always go as far into the vase as your roses are. Occasionally you have like the short little pieces like that, and that would be fine. You can use that, but just tuck it in with the shorter roses at the bottom of the vase. You can go all around with that stuff. And yeah, baby's breath is one of those things. It's such a traditional Valentine flower. I think we're conditioned, even from the time we're little kids, to love baby's breath with Valentine's flowers. It's up there with those little Valentines that kids give each other. Stop fighting me, flower. Hold on a second. Yeah, you get carnations when you're a little kid with baby's breath in them. And then as you get older, you get the single rose with the baby's breath. And people just love this stuff for that holiday. Honestly, most florists are not huge fans of it. I mean, if any of you have gone through the baby's breath weddings before, I think we've all done our share of those. It's not our most favorite thing to work with because it can get tangly. It doesn't always have the best fragrance, and we can, you know, if you're a floral designer or you own a flower shop, you know there's a million other filler flowers that would just rock your world, but this is what your customers are asking for, so you're just gonna go with it. All right. This stuff is so brittle. I don't even have the cooler on this time of year, so I've just been keeping it out and about in the house. And if you know anything about me, if you've ever worked with me before or spent time with me, I'm always freezing. It could be August and it could be 100 degrees outside, and I'm still the one that shows up to the barbecue wearing like the hoodie and Uggs if I can. But in fairness, you know, I do work in refrigeration a lot. I'm always in a cold environment where I'm working, which is actually fantastic for some of our visitors that come to visit us in the flower shop in the summer months. They absolutely love it. They think it's fantastic to take a little break in the cooler and cool down. It was a hot summer too. All right, friends, I think that, whoops, you see at the bottom here, I don't even know if you guys can see that. You see that one guy kind of sticking out sort of by my hair? Yep, that happens all of the time. That's one of my main reasons I love working with other designers, because we can always spot check each other's arrangements if we're working across from each other. So that is how to do a dozen in a vase. Now you can start to push them down a little bit to even them out a bit. I know there's a lot of guard petals on these guys that are green. Honestly, these poor roses, they look like they've been through battle. I mean, I still love them regardless, but we've done so many takes of this particular tutorial that the roses they've had it. They just want to stay on display and just be enjoyed. But luckily, Valentine's is just about here, so we will have them set out and they will be perfect. Not for me, but for my family. They're not nearly as picky as me about flower quality. All right, so that's about it. Thank you so much for your patience and for watching this, everybody. Like I have said in some of my other videos, or maybe you're just tuning into this one for the first time, I am very new at filming YouTube videos, so please be patient with me as I'm creating these new ones for everybody. I'm learning as I go along, so if you have any suggestions on anything else that you would like to see, any other tutorials that I can do to help you out, please leave the suggestions below in the comments. That would be really, really helpful to me. At this point, I think I'm just sticking with how-tos, how to design, whether you are a floral designer yourself and you just started a business, or if you're a really busy shop owner and you'd like your staff to have something to kind of review. Hopefully this will help them out. Or if you're someone who just really, really loves flowers, and during this weird time in history where we're all kind of cooped up all the time, maybe you love flowers in your home, maybe it's become a new hobby for you. So hopefully this will help you out. And you know, maybe you're going to surprise people in your neighborhood. Maybe you're just going to go out, get some roses, make up some arrangements, and drop them off at people's doorsteps. That's always fun. I used to do that quite a bit, actually. People will probably tell you some really silly stories. Even the kids used to help out with that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful to you all. And feel free to like and subscribe this, share this if you think it could help you out or your friends out. And I hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And I hope you come back next time. Thanks, guys.